Hey, it's Claudia, host of the show that you're listening to right now. Just popping in to tell you about our new revamped CityCast Portland membership program. Here's the vision. We're calling it CityCast Portland Neighbors because we learned that people who support CityCast Portland are people who care deeply about the city and want to make it better. And they're the kind of neighbors this city needs. So CityCast Portland Neighbors, it just made sense. We're also adding new benefits on top of ad-free listening and exclusive weekly roundups of local events. Now you also get regular happenings like happy hour hangouts, local volunteering meetups, and other members-only events where we explore and better our city together. Plus, you get to shout out a local business or nonprofit that you love on the show and in the Hey Portland newsletter. For only $10 a month, you can become a CityCast Portland neighbor today. Head over to membership.citycast.fm. That's membership.citycast.fm.
You can make a difference in someone's life, including your own, with a job in home care. These jobs offer flexible schedules, healthcare, retirement options, and free training. They also provide paid time off and opportunities for overtime. Visit OregonHomeCareJobs.com to learn more and apply. That's OregonHomeCareJobs.com.
We've made plenty of mistakes in the show, keeping track of who does what in our regional governments, and it can sometimes feel like an impossible task. We have city, county, and state jurisdictions overlapping sometimes on the same street. That's why today on CityCast Portland, I, Giulia Fiaoni, one of the producers of our show, am stepping in as unofficial quizmaster to test host Claudia Meza and executive producer John Notarianni on their knowledge of local governments. Do you really know the difference between PBOT and TriMet? Take the quiz alongside us and let's see who wins. It's Thursday, May 22nd. I'm senior producer Giulia Fiaoni, and this is what Portland's talking about. Hello, John, Claudia, welcome to your show.
Hey, Julia.
How does it feel to have me hosting today?
You're in charge. Look at this.
I know, it feels like way too much power. I feel like this was maybe a bad call.
Dude, there's no power. I love that. Is that what you think hosting is? Oh, I have the power.
It really feels like it right now.
I'm just excited to be a guest. And I hope I don't embarrass my friends and family with like a terrible performance. That is all.
Are you nervous for the quiz, both of you?
Oh, absolutely. I am terrified that we're going to undercut our credibility as people who know things about Portland.
Exactly. People were just like, did they just say Metro was PBOT? Like, no, they got to go. Well, before we start, though, I do need to mention that we're in the last 48 hours of our membership campaign. So if you haven't become a CityCast Portland neighbor yet, there's still time. I know money is tight right now for a lot of people, but I do think that we provide a lot of value, even though we just undercut ourselves saying that we know nothing. But I also think that we could possibly save you some money. I'm going to ask Julie and John, I'm going to quiz you two. How do you think we're saving people money?
Okay, first example, this was a hot tip, one of our hacks for our monthly guides that we do, the chip drop program. Don't waste your time going to Home Depot and buying mulch. You can get that shit for free from the city. And if you listen back to one of our monthly guides, you'll find out all the tips and tricks for that. So there you go. An example of how we saved you money.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I just think that the newsletter itself is full of ideas of awesome free or low-cost stuff to do. And members get a free preview of that every week of all of the events in their inbox every Monday. So if you're looking for cool stuff to do on the cheap, I mean, that is the golden ticket right there.
You're right.
For sure. There's also just free ways to engage with the city that we offer pretty much nearly every episode, I think, even if it's to be mad at the city. Hey, free engagement.
Do it for free.
Yeah, because when you become a CityCast Portland neighbor, like, you know, John said, we send you these early access to our weekly event picks. So I don't know, what does it cost? $10 a month? but it gets you so much more, like ensuring we can continue our work and I can continue putting Julia and John on the spot like I just did. So just sign up membership.citycast.fm. That's membership.citycast.fm. Okay, Julia, you have the power.
I am the quiz master.
Host away.
Okay, let's get into this quiz. So we're going to have 3 rounds of questions to cover our city, county, and state governments.
Okay.
There will be 2 true or false questions, 1 multiple choice question, and 1 free response question per round, and 2 special bonus questions at the end of the quiz for a grand possible total of 20 points each. You'll have a limited amount of time to write down your answers on the sheet of paper in front of you so you don't cheat. I'm keeping an eye on them, listeners.
So rude. Like the fact, I remember when you were breaking this down to us, both John and I were so offended that you would even think that we would care enough to cheat.
We really got to keep it fair. And basically the person with the most points at the end wins. Okay, let the games begin. For round 1, we're focusing on the city of Portland. And our first of the 2 true or false questions is worth 1 point. For this one, you'll have 5 seconds to answer, and I'll let you know when the timer's starting. True or false, Mayor Keith Wilson has the power to appoint, reassign, discipline, and remove all directors of bureaus and departments except the city attorney and chief of police. And here's some music for our listeners to play alongside us. 5 seconds starting now. All right, John, what is your answer?
I think it's false. I think that that's under the city administrator's purview, but I could be completely wrong about that.
And Claudia?
Yeah, the exact same answer. False. I'm pretty sure that's the city admin.
All right, ding, ding, ding.
Hey.
It was false. Our city administrator, Michael Jordan, has that power, not our mayor. You guys know your shit. Okay.
It was one question.
One down. It's all downhill from here.
Seriously.
All right. True or false question number 2. Sandy Boulevard is managed by the Portland Bureau of Transportation, or PBOT. All right. Claudia.
I did another false, but I'm like going back and forth just because it's such a major throwaway. So I want to think that it's ODOT, but I could just be completely just screwing myself. It might very easily. Now I'm like, it's probably PBOT, but I just showed you my false, so.
Can't cheat. Okay, John.
Also, same thought process. North Portland inadequacy here, since I'm not over on that part of the city too much.
no.
But I think that it is probably ODOT, since it's a major thoroughfare, but I could go either way.
Okay. Ding, ding, ding. You're both correct.
Oh, look at us, Claudia.
This is a trick question.
Oh, God.
West of 99th is managed by PBOT. East of 99th is managed by the Oregon Department of Transportation. So if you would have guessed either or, you would have been correct.
Was that? Look at you being a kind quizmaster.
I'm a kind quizmaster.
Feeling very taken care of here.
Okay. Our first multiple choice question of our first round. Here we go. Which service area does our city's 311 phone line program fall under? A, city operations. B, public safety. C, community and economic development.
Oh, man, I know John has to know this one because he had to cover it.
Oh, but I'm completely like, it's totally one way or it's totally the other.
Yeah.
Time is up.
Just so you know, John, I feel terrible about my choices.
Yeah.
All right, John.
We've definitely waffled on 311 in the past, and I'm going B. I'm guessing it's under public safety, but I'm like either certain that that's correct or certain that I'm wrong.
All right, Claudia, what did you think?
I'm so confused about 311 and 211 because I don't even know what's going on. I'm saying A, city operations, because I know that we did a big campaign on the city to sort of extract one of them from the public safety. But again, I could just be misremembering which one.
You ready to hear the answer?
I hope it's C
Yeah.
and we're both wrong.
It's A, city operations. Claudia. Nice. So just a reminder to folks, because people, like you said, mix this up all the time. So 211 connects you with community-based social services like food pantries and housing assistance, while 311 is primarily for non-emergency city and county services like noise complaints and reporting potholes. So, okay, free response. This is our first free response worth 2 points. And I want to say this question is kind of random, but it is because I want to shout out our dedicated listener, friend of the show, and PBOT Street Activation leader, Greg Raisman, for the inside scoop. And this question is, how many miles of sidewalk do we have in the city of Portland?
How dare you? How freaking dare you?
Whoever guesses the closest number gets all 2 points. You have 15 seconds starting now.
This is hopeless.
Time up.
I'm so mad at Greg right now.
All right, Claudia, what was your guess?
258 miles. That's
in our whole city, 258 miles.
Yeah,
All right,
yeah,
John.
That's it.
My brain is breaking because I recently looked at the number of how many miles of streets that we have.
Okay.
And I was like, oh, and that number is just like a gray spot in my brain. I can't remember what it was.
So you don't remember what the number is?
If I were to remember that, I would have a better guess. But in lieu of having any real information, I'm going 2,000.
Ding, 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 ding. John is the winner. It's 3,200 miles of sidewalk in the city of Portland.
Okay. That's pretty
And
close.
a fun fact from our listener, Greg, it costs $9 million a mile to build sidewalks in Portland. And that's under ideal conditions when curbs and stormwater resources are already set up. When there are hilly, streets and no stormwater resources, the cost can be twice as much a mile to install. It's a lot of freaking money.
I just was like, look, I don't know, and I don't care. At this point, I was just like,
You're like, this city has no sidewalks.
yes, that's why I said 258. It was a silent protest.
Okay, so we're going to give our totals here for points out of 6. And we're at a tie, 4-4 going into our break. It's getting pretty serious in here. So I will say, we're going to take a break here before we get into round 2, where I test your Multnomah County knowledge. So when we come back, you'll hear more from that.
It's over.
Paint Care has 3 simple rules to help you paint smarter. 1, buy only what you need. Determining the right amount of paint for your next project can be tricky, but tips like measuring your space and asking your local paint store for advice will help ensure you have enough for your project while minimizing waste. 2, use up what you have. Look around your house and find simple DIY projects where you can use up your paint. Or you could give away your leftover paint to friends, neighbors, or community groups who could benefit from it. 3, recycle the rest at convenient locations like your neighborhood paint store. Paint Care even offers direct pickups for households and businesses with more than 100 gallons of leftover paint. Learn more or find a paint drop-off site near you at paintcare.org/3simplerules.
Test, check 1, 2. You know you need unique New York. You know you need unique New York. Does that sound all right? Ah, that's better. You can always tell something's missing when you get isolated results. Like AI that's only right for one of your systems. Get AI that can work across your data and applications. Learn more at IBM.com. The AI built for business. IBM.
Welcome back, everyone. Before we jump in, John has a few words to share about the last couple days of our ongoing Neighbors membership campaign.
Yeah, I want to take the last moment where I'm not losing this quiz show to close out on a high note and just remind everyone, we are in the spring membership campaign right now. And if you're getting to the point where you're like, are they still talking about this? Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, we are. And we're asking nicely again because we would really love for you to join as a member. And, I'm actually really proud that this show is supported by members. I think that's one of the things that's coolest about CityCast Portland, right?
Yeah.
Is that we're constantly hearing from people who listen to the show and they're feeding us ideas and they're responding to what we're talking about and they're letting us know when we're wrong about things.
All the time, really.
All the time.
All the time.
And we say thank you, even when we're wrong. Thank you. But if you've been on the fence and you've been hoping to come on board, now's the time to join. It's the last couple days. When you do become a member, when you become a part of the CityCast Portland Neighbors program, we do have a mug for you that we will ship directly to your door. And, we think that there's a lot of really special stuff that goes into being a member of CityCast Portland, like the events listings that we've talked about, like special member-only events where we can get together. I like to imagine that people are sort of sitting at the table, listening to us argue about city details and politics and stuff, and like a coffee mug, you're going to be able to be right there with us. So if you'd like to be a member, you can get that mug. And you can join the CityCast Portland Neighbors program, support the show, but do it today because we're right up against the end of this campaign. You can go to membership.citycast.fm to join. That's membership.citycast.fm.
Okay, back to the quiz. Multnomah County round, starting with true or false. You know how it goes. Question number 1, true or false? Multnomah County would inform the public of a measles case at the Moda Center. All right, John, what was your answer?
I'm going false. My instinct is that would come from like the Oregon Health Authority, which is a state agency, but I would appreciate it if the county let us know.
Claudia?
Yeah, mine was actually true, just because I'm just like, one of them would do it. I'm just going to go with Multnomah County.
Ding, ding, ding. It was true.
Oh.
Yeah.
It is the county's responsibility to let the public know because there could be a possible outbreak. That's just how that works. Okay, question number 2 for true or false. When I find trash on the corner of a public street or on I-84, I call the county to clean it up. All right, Claudia.
False. I think that's ODOT.
Okay.
Also, like, why would you call about litter? I don't know. Just
John?
Also false. City Street feels like City, 84 feels like ODOT.
Okay. False. You are both correct.
Hey.
I will say your reasoning's a little off. You would call Metro's RID Patrol at 503-234-3000. They have a special trash program to pick up public street trash, which is really interesting. I did not know that before I put this question together.
On the I-84?
Yeah.
Metro?
Metro. You call Metro and let them know.
Huh.
Fancy, right? If you missed that number, it was 503-234-3000. I can just picture someone driving on the highway right now seeing some trash.
Listening to the podcast, calling on trash.
Listening to the podcast. Okay. Multiple choice question for this round. These are worth 2 points. Here we go. What 6 cities are considered within Multnomah County jurisdiction? Option A, Fairview, Lake Oswego, Gresham, Portland, Maywood Park, Troutdale. Option B, Fairview, Gresham, Maywood Park, Portland, Troutdale, Wood Village. Option C, Gresham, Maywood Park, Cedar Hills, Portland, Troutdale, Wood Village. All right.
You realize this is very mean because you are asking us to do some potential Multnomah County erasure. I am going C. I'm not feeling right about Fairview, but like, again, if I'm wrong, all my friends and loved ones in Fairview, I'm so sorry.
Do you have any friends in Fairview?
I'm going to find out.
Okay, Claudia, what did you pick?
I hit B for absolutely no reason. Just so you know, I was very overwhelmed. I don't even know if half of these are real.
The answer was B.
Yes! Sheer freaking luck, John.
The 6 cities that are considered within Multnomah County jurisdiction are Fairview, Gresham, Maywood Park, Portland, Troutdale, and Wood Village. Cedar Hills is a neighborhood, not a city, which it was a trick one.
I knew that. I knew Cedar Hills was not a city because I go there for movies.
Yes.
It was between A or B, and I was confused about Lake Oswego.
There's some trickety tricks in here, so you got to keep your eyes sharp.
Yeah.
Okay. Free response. Name 3 functions of Multnomah County. In other words, what do they do? They have 15 different core functions listed on their website, so don't think too hard. You probably know at least 3.
Oh, God.
My brain just blanked out.
No.
So I wrote down admin of homeless camps, and then I got caught in the process of thinking where we were on the back and forth in the city in between who is going to be administering them versus funding them. And that took 15 seconds. So that is my answer.
Okay.
Oh man, I'm sure I didn't do much better. Homeless services, health, and housing is the three things that when I think of Multnomah County, I'm like, I know that they have offices for all those.
I feel like you guys did both say homeless services and a version of homeless services, which is housing. So I will give you a point each for that. But I'm going to read to you very quickly this whole list because I didn't know how much the county did. Starting with services for seniors, services for disabled people, animal services, assessment and taxation, bridges, community justice, courts, elections, health, jails,
Oh, what's up?
libraries,
County jail.
marriage licenses, passports, school partnerships, and community partnerships, which is crazy. They do like a ton of stuff that I just didn't think fell under their jurisdiction. So I think housing and homelessness fall under the same category.
Okay.
But because you gave full answers, I will give you the 2 full points, Claudia. And John, I'll give you a full point too.
Aw, thanks, Quizmaster.
For your administration.
For my
So the Quizmaster is kind.
for my rabbit hole of a single issue. It's very generous of you.
So 2 points for Claudia, 1 for John. We're moving on to Oregon state government. This is when it's going to get kind of tricky. All right. Going with our next set of true or false questions. Question number 1, true or false? U.S. Senator Gordon Smith was the last Republican elected statewide in Oregon.
Oof.
All right, John.
I'm going false, just completely out of hand, but I'm guessing that my tricky Quizmaster is going to remind me of somebody that I should have remembered.
All right, Claudia.
I just put false because I have no idea, and I'm not going to say true for something I have no idea.
All right, I like this reasoning. You're both correct. False. It was Secretary of State Dennis Richardson.
Oh, statewide. I was thinking like in terms of Congress, which doesn't make any sense. Okay. Well, cool. I got it right in completely the wrong way.
Well, I will say this is a shout out to our Hey Portland newsletter editor, Rachel Monahan, for coming up with that one because I would have gotten that one wrong if I was in this quiz. Next one, true or false? Current Oregon State Governor Tina Kotek is the commander-in-chief of our state's military forces. All right, Claudia.
I don't know why I'm saying this. I already regret it. I'm saying true because I've just not heard of anybody else who is of our state, and she's the governor, but because I've never heard of her in any capacity within that realm, now I'm already regretting saying true. But
all right, John.
Exactly the same answer and exactly the same reasoning.
And ding, 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 you're correct.
Hey, you're so good at this, Claudia.
She's the lady with the big guns. Okay. Before we go to our multiple choice, I want to give you both some redemption and give you a surprise true or false for this question so you get an extra point possibly if you get it right. True or false? If there's a pothole on Cesar Chavez Boulevard, I call the Oregon Department of Transportation to fill it. Answers. Claudia.
I'm going to say true again for the exact same reason I said true on Sandy. It's a major thoroughfare.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, also true. I imagine that is run by the state.
False.
Oh.
You would call the Portland Bureau of Transportation. They're the ones that manage Cesar Chavez. Wah, wah. Okay.
How do we remember that? Can you give us a fun little rhyme to remember?
I don't know. I got to get on to the next question. Multiple choice.
Well, then I'll never remember.
This one is worth 2 points. What is typically Oregon's largest source of tax revenue? A, corporate excise and income tax. B, general state sales tax. C, personal income tax. John.
I'm going A.
Okay. Claudia.
I went back and forth with A or C, but I'm just going C just because we're always complaining that we're not taxing corporations enough. So now I'm just like, well, let's see about this.
All right. I'm glad you both didn't pick B because Oregon does not have a state sales tax.
Yeah, we caught that one, trickster. We
Thank
got
you.
that one.
So the answer is C, personal income tax. So the personal income tax is the largest source of the state tax revenue. It's expected to account for 82% of the state's general fund for the 2023 through 25 biennium. It's quite a load.
Yeah.
Okay. This is our final question for the state government round. Who was Oregon's first female governor? And when was she inaugurated?
Oh, I know this one and I just forgot her name.
All right.
I freaking know this one. I'm just so bad with names. You guys know this. Does What's Her Face work?
All right. Did you get to answer the name and when the inauguration year would have been?
I don't remember the inauguration.
Well, let's start with John.
I mean, I have no idea, so I'm just saying Kate Brown, and I'm guessing it was 2014, but I'm sure I'm wrong about that because I just don't, again, like deep Oregon history, not my strong suit.
Okay, Claudia, any sort of answer?
I'm just going to also say Kate Brown just to give you an answer, even though I don't think that's the one, but go ahead.
Wow, this one really stumped y'all. So it was Barbara Roberts.
There we go. I was going to say Barbara Boxer.
Of course you
were.
were.
No, I was going to say Barbara Boxer, and I was like, no, that's somebody else.
So she was inaugurated in 1991, and she played a huge role in protecting thousands of acres of old-growth forest because she was caught up in the timber wars when there was a regulatory battle between the timber industry and environmentalists, which basically she sacrificed her political career making those choices, but she did save a bunch of trees. So shout out Barbara. Okay, moving on to our bonus round. This is the final 2 questions of the game. Here we go. Who manages the Oregon Zoo? All right, John.
I don't know. I didn't write anything down.
Oh,
I do not know
man.
the answer.
Oh,
I thought this one you guys would maybe both know. Claudia,
Metro.
you got it. Metro manages our Oregon Zoo, which I find very interesting. But
It's literally the only reason I once looked at their job listings because I was like, I want to work at the zoo. This is a long time ago when I first moved to Portland, and I was like, Metro? I want to work at the zoo. What's going on?
Okay, this is the last question of our quiz. What are the 6 governmental bodies that serve Portland?
God, I hate it. I hate this.
Yeah.
There's 6 of them?
Time is up.
I could only come up with 4. I know there's more, but I just so
There's
you know,
6.
I didn't have time.
Okay, rattle them off.
I have Multnomah County, Metro, State, and City, and I'm sure there's 2 more because you said 6.
Okay.
But as of right now, I can't think of
All right,
any
John.
federal government. I don't know.
Yeah.
Doesn't count,
I just sort of got into like, I'm not sure I understand this question. If you were talking about like individual agencies or like forms of government. So I also wrote city, state, county, metro.
Okay, so you guys got the same answers.
But I'm interested in seeing what you were going for.
First one, federal. Second one, state. Third, metro. Fourth, county. Fifth, city. Sixth, TriMet.
I almost said TriMet.
The secret
Damn it.
sneaker TriMet.
I almost said Tri-Cities, and I was like, nope, that's a different freaking state.
Yeah. Notice that I omitted the federal government because I think that I am actually correct in that.
You don't think the federal government has jurisdiction over Portland?
No. I don't think that they're going to serve Portland for much longer.
Oh,
Yes.
gotta serve Portland. Gotcha. Yeah, I agree.
I like the thinking for all of these. So I will say, just a reminder, TriMet manages our MAX and bus lines, while PBOT manages our tram and streetcar lines. So something to keep in mind.
PBOT does tram
and streetcar.
And they get so mad when people confuse them, but it's so funny because it's like, well, they're doing one of those things.
Yes, it's quite complicated. So we've reached the end of our quiz, and accounting for our surprise bonus question, there was a possible 21 points that you could have got.
Oh, this is going to hurt.
Drum roll from our producer who's putting together the points right now.
Oh man.
All right. And John came in with 9 points and Claudia 16.
Oh.
Yay!
Claudia,
Wow.
wield your crown with pride and grace.
You guys, I like to thank the city for one, the county. I'd like to thank TriMet. I'd like to thank
Big shout out to TriMet.
Metro. And I'd like to acknowledge the federal government.
Congratulations.
Yeah, thank you.
So before we head out, it's time to shout out some of our CityCast Portland neighbors that have joined this week. A big thanks to Lori S., Martin M., Kane R., Marnie D., Julia K., Megan S., Catherine D., Emily W., Gordon P., Darcy G., Brandon O., Darcy R., and Ulrich D. We are so happy that you've joined us. And if you haven't joined, we want to invite you to become a CityCast Portland neighbor at membership.citycast.fm. You have until end of the day Friday to sign up and get that neighbors only coffee mug as a special welcome gift. Again, that's membership.citycast.fm. That is the end of our quiz. I'm taking off my quiz master crown. How are you two feeling after that?
Good. Thank you, Julia. That was harrowing, but that was fun.
That was super fun. I was 5 short of a perfect score. And to be honest, I'm very surprised that I was even that close.
I'm impressed with you both. Your reasoning made sense. And I will say, listeners, if you played alongside us, send us your scores and tell us how you're feeling about your government knowledge.
Oh, somebody has a perfect 21. And they're just
absolutely.
like, and they're like, I'm the quiz, I am the host of this show.
I'm the quiz master. I knew it was TriMet. Well, thank you too. Have a good rest of the day.
All right. Thanks, Julia.
Thanks, guys.
That's all for today here on CityCast Portland. Thank you for listening. And if you enjoyed the show, why not tell a friend, rate, or leave us a review? We'll be back tomorrow morning with more from around the city. Until then, see you at Slim's.